This really was a great book. I see, exactly what you like about it. I'm surprised that you loved it as much as you did, because half the book is basically is it a spoiler to say what part 3 is?
No, we've talked about it so much in this book at this point.
So half the book is a battle royale type scene. It's a hunt, I suppose, the most dangerous game. So I'm interested, I guess, in your opinion. You really love the opening, or at least you like part 2 a lot. And I think you like maybe part 5, but I'm surprised.
Okay, I don't necessarily remember the different parts well enough.
Part 1...
Because it's been 2 years since I've read this.
Okay, I'll go over the parts. Part 1, you basically get an introduction to your characters. They're really in love with this book called Winterset Hollow, name of the book that we're reading. And they arrive at an island. Part 2, you get lost on the island and end up at the manor of the guy who wrote this book.
That's the bit I like, yes.
That's your favorite part, because you then get to meet the characters that the book is based off of. Runny the Rabbit, Phineas Fox.
Yes.
What are the others? Flackwell the Frog, and...
I think you could get figurines of these at one point as well.
Really?
I think something like that.
That's
I recall.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Flackwell and Runny are my favorites.
I loved Runny so much. Runny Mead the Rabbit, yes. I felt a lot of empathy for him when you read the story, the little story within the story, and no one there to shed a tear for the rabbit in the rye, and I'm shedding a tear reading it.
Yeah, all of them have really, really good points. Flackwell is just but people really enjoy my food. I'm happy. I don't want to kill them. So, part 3, they aim to kill them because they are trying to kill all the Addingtons.
Yes.
One of our characters is an Addington, who's related to the person who wrote the book, and basically took all of these people from their homes, killed their families, and trapped them on
That's
this
the
island.
darkest thing. We are not expecting that.
You find that out in part 4 when they get off the island for a bit. Part 4, one guy goes back to the island and finishes it off with all 4 of them.
Yes.
And I really love part 4. Part 5 is just kind of tying everything up. Part 4 is just I connect with them. They don't really want to kill anymore. Flackwell and Runny are just kind of done.
Runny's worn out. Yeah.
He really... So the only... I have one nitpick about this book.
Okay, go ahead.
And a major nitpick, I think, unless it's discussed. So, Runny cuts off parts of his ear throughout this book. And I think they say that it's a little bit diseased, but we never really understand why he's cutting off his ear. He feels like... I thought it was a necessary thing that he was doing, this is the blood that has to be spilt or something. It was not clear in that case.
I thought it was more of an emo thing,
Maybe he's just I'm doing this and I can't deal with it or something, so he inflicts the pain upon himself. I don't
kind of how I took it. He's just so done with everything,
Yeah. And we only learned that his entire family was killed at the very end of the book, part 4. We think that they're just out for blood for no reason, and we don't understand the story until page 200.
I think it's good that we find out it's not such a basic good guys and bad guys kind of situation, I like that.
You definitely feel it with, I think, all of them throughout. Runny seems to be Runny and Flackwell are very good caretakers for the house. There's parts in the hunt that they are just hanging out in the house. They see people run across and they're just smoking or eating the tart or something, and I'm this is actually really nice. Phineas, you can tell that his family was hunted. Yeah. And he is out to kill humans. He hates all humans, no matter who they are, no matter if they actually take care of animals or not. I really get that. The one that I didn't connect with as much, but you get his story through imagery, would be Bing the bear. Yeah. He doesn't speak. He doesn't have that ability, it seems like. But you go to his cave at one point where he was locked up, and along the wall were bones of deer that showed the hollow that he's from. His parents, I assume, or maybe mate and child. we don't really know who it is in the picture, but you know that his family was taken from him.
Yeah.
And it's really, really well done in that case. So, yeah, I like it.
I mean, even from listening to you, it sounds like you also see what I liked, which is like the characters are so distinctive and so well thought out and well put together. Yeah. Like it's the animals in particular, more so even than the humans. But I mean, I love Running Meet the Rabbit. He's just fantastic. I just love him. He's amazing. He's my favorite. He's so
just so old and worn out, and I feel so bad for him. Flackwell, I like a bit more because he's like, these humans are actually nice. They love my food. I just love making food. I don't want to kill them. I have to, but I don't want to.
So this is the one that's always described as Watership Down turns into Battle Royale, basically. Like, cute little animals. And then what if they hunt the humans and try to kill them?
More or less. Yeah.
I think you probably liked the second. I think I like the Watership Down more, and you like the Battle Royale more.
No. I like the... Part 2 introduces you to that. The Battle Royale, I'm like, this is fine. You kind of know what's happening. It's just a Hunger Games. It didn't stand out that much to me as anything super innovative.
I did not expect it the first time I read this, to be honest. I didn't know where the story was going.
So he ends up in the house, faints somehow, and then they're like, well, we're cooking for you. I'm like, okay, so they're evil. Like, they're not going to just cook food. I thought the food was going to be poisoned, and that was how they
okay. I did not expect that. I didn't know where it was going. Because I didn't know. I mean, maybe because we obviously talked about it to you before and stuff. I was like, this could just be a kid's book about happy rabbits. Like, I didn't even know if it was going to have a twist when I first read it. It was sent to me, and I was like, I don't know what this is.
This would go nowhere, I think, in that case. So it had to have that part. But yeah, my favorite is, so he gets off the island, goes back. Basically, I got to end this once and for all, and he gets the story of why they're there. You can empathize, or at least sympathize with the characters, like the animal friends. Well, not friends, but then even Runny and Flacco are like, we don't want to kill you now. Like, we've had a long night. And Phineas shows up and stabs Runny and Flackwell through the heart, and he kills them both. And it's so sad to see Runny holding Flackwell in his arms as Flackwell dies. And I really, really enjoyed that. And Phineas goes out in an amazing way. Well, mostly burned to death, but then comes back from the grave almost. But then after they're dead, our main character sets up Flackwell and Runny to hold hands. Their corpses, like he said, they wouldn't want me to bury them. They wanted to be together. And I'm like, this is really heavy hitting. I enjoyed it. So yeah, it definitely got a lot of positive points. It took a little bit to get into here and there, but yeah, I think I read the last half of the book all in one night. So
okay.
And I read the first half just traveling here and there, bits by bit.
It's funny when you're traveling how much you can read. There was one of the books I read in like a day just because I was traveling. Yeah. I was like, yep, this whole book.
Got an hour and a half flight. Why not?
What about the story within the story, like the little kind of poem bits about the animals living their happy life? Like, I really liked those as well. Those are really nice.
They're nice. I guess it's another nitpick. I wish we had more of their story and their history. You get what actually happened, but I want to know what happened in the book that Addington wrote.
A lot of people... I remember when we interviewed the author way back, that was the first thing everyone says to him, like, can you release that book? The book within the book, expanded, Yeah,
I mean, I get it, because I'm like, okay, so I guess Runny does go out and then somehow causes a problem that impacts the Hollow, but we don't really know what happened. So I think that if that were cleared up a little bit more, that would have even made it even better. I would have loved
that's fair.
That.
So it sounds like you liked it. You can see what I mean. It's my favorite book from the entire run of Books Boys. So whilst you wouldn't necessarily share that opinion, you liked it, and you can maybe at least see why I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it deserves an A. I'd say that. It's not like top books of all time. That's what I say the A+ for.
Yeah.
It's probably the number 2 book this year.